What up guys, it is Justice here, and this is going to be a brief video, but I just want to cover off a few of the patches that have been released this week. Occasionally I do this on my channel, and I feel like some of these need to be addressed, and I want to address them. They're pretty interesting. By the way, I will just be killing some Twin Furies or some other God Wars dungeon monsters in the background of this video. This is more of a escape and listen video, so I can get this out to you guys today and cover off the patches which I'm most interested in. First off, we're going to look at Dreadnips, and yeah, this is a pretty big thing, like blowing up around the game. I mean, of course, when there isn't a major update within the week, Jagex tend to focus on the patches, and they tend to bring out some game changes. And these little tweaks can really have a large impact, especially within the PVM scene. So we have a look at Dreadnips. Twitter was just blowing up on Monday around this nerf. So Dreadnips are close to the same though in solo. Yes, they've been nerfed overall in terms of there are no stackable stuns anymore, but they are close to the same when you're actually soloing with them. So they still work at God Wars Dungeon 2, for example, which is a place where a lot of people are using them at the moment, and they still stun the monster. So for example, at Vindictor and Gorvek, the Dreadnip will still stun the Gorvek dragon or wyvern, whatever you want to call it, and prevent it from flying. However, just not as consistently, so it won't stackably stun Gorvek, but you won't see a huge difference in solo fights. Now, the area which it does affect is group PVMing, and that's where the uproar is right now. Well, not uproar, but it's like the sort of dissatisfaction. We all know that Dreadnips were never supposed to be the way they are right now. You know, they've been through different stages. They've been through up and downs within the game. They were dead content for a long time when the EOC was released. They used to be used all the time pre-EOC, and then when Evolution of Combat was released, you know, they became dead content for a long time until raids came out, for example, and areas where we could stackably stun the monster to prevent specials from being unleashed upon the team. So a prime example is raids where within the first week you could stack loads of Dreadnips onto Yakimaru, and it would just almost skip phases occasionally. It would just be crazy. And obviously there's lots of bugs with Yakimaru on the first release, such as like reflect damage would skip phases, skip pools, and things like that. But overall, guys, even right now, like last week, you could say, people were still using Dreadnips effectively at Yakimaru to prevent the amount of auto attacks that Yakimaru was unleashing upon the team, and therefore DPSs were taking less damage, base tankers were taking less damage, and it was constantly in the public chat people spamming get the nips out or unleash the nips, or just spamming the word nips. It became a common trend amongst raiding teams. Well, now there is no stackable stuns anymore, and therefore within a group you're going to feel the impact in terms of the amount of damage that you're taking. However, it's still worth using Dreadnips there because there's a higher likelihood of them applying stuns when there's more of them out there attacking the boss. And yeah, so once the temporary immunity wears off, there will be a higher likelihood of the Dreadnip then stunning straight away, because there'll be multiple Dreadnips trying to stun it. So it's still worth it, guys, in a group environment. And also, they add damage anyway, so it's worth it. Now, let's move on to Dominion Gloves. Yes, they've been nerfed as well. Lots of nerfs happening here with Dominion Tower, considering there's been lots of buffs as well with the actual monsters you're killing, but we'll get onto that in a minute. So Dominion Gloves have been nerfed, but I would still use them personally ahead of other gloves in their class where their effect actually works. So against bosses that aren't immune to it. However, potentially the Death Touch Bracelet may be a better alternative now, but at a higher cost to use. So Dominion Gloves are more accessible, and they've been made even more accessible due to the ease of obtaining them. So yeah, overall Dominion Gloves and Nips have been nerfed. However, you can obtain them much quicker, whereby special fights within the Dominion Tower can now award more KC. But with this update, once again, there has been an oversight by Jagex in terms of a farmable method that you could have done, I think, between Monday and Wednesday. It has now been nerfed, but it still is a decent rate now per hour in terms of how many Dreadnips you can obtain. Essentially, you can still go and kill evil chickens within the Revenge of the Evil Chicken special boss fight within the Dominion Tower. You were racking up to around 10,000 Dreadnips per hour, because each evil's chicken fight would count towards 5 KC and therefore more reward points. But they've now nerfed it to the fight only contributing towards 2 KC. Now, the patch notes refer to when you're killing harder bosses within the Dominion Tower, you will be able to obtain more reward points per boss fight. And with these points, you can then use them to spend on Dominion Tower gloves. Now, again, another oversight there. Not quite sure whether they've edited the patch notes, but for about 3 or 4 days, you know, they probably should have included Dreadnips there as well, because there's a bit of confusion going around amongst the community with this update. But either way, a mate of mine, Hippo, uploaded a guide around this method, I think on day 1 on the 4th of April. Props to that guy. I'm going to leave the video in the description below. Definitely go and check it out. It was crazy how the rate at which he was obtaining Dreadnips per hour was ridiculous. So anyway, you can go and do this method now. You can get up to 4,000 Dreadnips an hour, and universally, Dominion Tower gloves and Dreadnips have been nerfed across the game. So, you know, gathering them at this rate isn't going to have a huge impact, but obviously there was a major balancing issue initially with the release of this update, and it's just a shame really that, you know, things like this are slipping through, you know, Jax's development or QA team. It is a real shame, but it happens. It has happened a lot though, I would say, over the past few months, and yeah, it does get a bit worrying as a player, but overall it has now been hot fixed, and you can still get them at a decent rate, but you're not going to really want to farm Dominion Tower gloves at a high rate anyway, because they now last for 10 hours rather than 4, which is a pretty cool update despite the nerf. So yeah, the whole thing has been a balancing act from nerfing the items to then increasing the rate at which you can obtain them. Upon release or the patches on Monday, they got that wrong because the oversight, but now they seem to have hotfixed it. Let me know your comments and thoughts down below in the comment section. There are other areas within the Dominion Tower, such as maybe Rumble mode, that has now been promoted with this update and made more effective, and it might be worth doing that now with a bunch of mates, because the Pest Queen and Nomad, I think they give pretty decent reward points now, and you do get quite a few Pest Queens within Rumble mode, which is the mode right on the roof of the Dominion Tower. So, and that can be pretty fun. And again, that'll last for like 40 odd minutes, I think, if you want to max out and try and reach the end. So anyway, moving on to the next topic, God Wars Dungeon 2. Lots of changes here. Loot beam fixes, pet fixes where people were able to obtain the same pet twice has now been fixed. Yes, guys, you could obtain the same pet twice. Can you imagine how salty you would be if that happened to you? If it has, comment down below. Instant fixes with the challenge mode as well. However, that was used, I think that was hot fixed actually last week anyway, but essentially, it would eat your KC every time you went back through the traverse or went back into your instance by rejoining. It would eat another 40 KC if you were doing challenge mode. That was very irritating, but I think that was hotfixed anyway. It was not included within this week's actual patches. But also, Hellware has been buffed further, where he will now spawn his alphas correctly. Those are those wolves. And I'm covering Hellware off in a challenge mode video, nailing down the method, hoping to finish that off tomorrow night and upload by Friday. So, also moving on to RuneMetrics, which has also had an update too, where it now gives you a breakdown of XP gained via bonus experience, so you can distinguish more easily between the two, as it can be irritating if you're tracking XP and you have bonus being used up. So a class update there, just to make it a bit easier to track due to less hassle. And finally, the instance fix. This is something us PVMers have been demanding for a long ass time. It's finally here, guys. We will no longer be scammed for 10 minutes of our instance cost. Before, as you guys are probably aware, if you tried to enter your instance with less than 10 minutes remaining, it would not allow you and declare it's over. Well, we all got used to this in the end, kind of, so now we all get an extra 10 minutes, come on. Or, well, the original 1 hour, which is stated in game. Anyway, guys, that's me covering off the patches for this week and my thoughts and opinions on the matter. Some very controversial topics there. Again, this is just a personal opinion. Everybody has their own, and it's just about being respectful to, you know, each other's opinions, but feel free to discuss it in the comment section. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like the video if you enjoyed it and you want me to cover off more patches in the future, and I'll see you in the next one.